Here it is.
Underscore here, because a lot of Americans prior to today probably did not know who Lisa Cook was. Her nomination was a highly contested nomination along party lines by the Republicans. The Republicans tried to paint her as unqualified and a left-wing extremist, to the point where she was confirmed by I think it was 50-51, and Vice President Harris had to come in to cast the tie-breaking vote for her nomination. I read through her bio at the top of this. She's extremely qualified. But the point here is, based on an allegation that the administration themselves don't even know to be true. Where's that part in the line here?
Says, we there's sufficient reason to believe you may have made the false statements.
Sufficient reason to believe you may have.
You hear that? You may have.
And as a 14-year term, sufficient reason to believe you may have. You'd think someone would call someone's lawyer and someone would have this conversation with them.
Correct. Right. Or you think it would have came up in her highly contested confirmation hearing, Norm. So I just think it is it is not lost on me that the person other than the chair that he's decided to target is the only black woman to be serving on the board.
What say you, Monique? Good morning.
Right. I mean, this is a calculated error and mistake on their part. Good morning, Don. It's an error to think that a black woman who is the first black woman in the seat is the low-hanging fruit that they can pluck off the tree in order to secure a seat for a loyalist, because just on behalf of the 92% at large, we are so fucking pissed and tired of this bullshit that we really had already started rallying the troops to get people to understand that we simply are not going to take this with our hands tied behind our backs and with our mouths closed and without moving into action. The CBC has already made a strong and powerful statement. I would expect that Win with Black Women is about to do the same. National Council of Negro Women is about to do the same, because enough already. What he's trying to do is unlawful. And the news agencies that are reporting it as if he fired her are reporting inaccurately. He cannot fire her. He is attempting to fire her, but that responsibility does not lie with him. It's the Supreme Court has already said, and I'll give you the case, or I'll wait for you to ask me another question, and then I'll give you the case.
So then now what? Here's the irony to me. Is all irony dead? Is it just dead because Donald Trump has been charged and I believe found guilty of the very same thing that he's accusing this woman of with no proof? And also we know that he is a criminal president. He is a convicted criminal president. But just that and all of the other things that he has the nerve to charge other people with or accuse other people of that he himself has been found guilty of. I don't know if, the MAGA people are wearing their MAGA glasses or if Donald Trump understands, perhaps he doesn't think that he is, a criminal, and he does believe that he's above the law, obviously. But do you see what I'm saying here? Like, this is all irony is dead here. This is
it's a farce. That's early this morning. I sent some people a message and I said it is farcical that a man who is a convicted fraudster and also not just convicted criminally, a felon, but found liable for attempting to defraud. And I've heard you on your show explain, the way that he manipulates the value of his properties and all of those things. So those of us who actually care about facts have been paying attention to it. And I don't think that it's lost on any of us. When he's accused of things, he's never done anything wrong. But he feels fine with accusing people actually with creating allegations, because the entire federal branch of the government, the DOJ, everybody is beholden to him and doing his bidding. So they create, then they refer her, then they use the fact that they created and referred in order to try to unseat her. But same as the attacks against Jerome Powell, she's issued a statement saying that she's not going to be removed in that manner. She's not resigning, and this is going to work its way up through the courts.
Yeah, I want to play. This is Norm Eisen speaking on what we are talking about now. Here he is.
And the legal flaw here is that statute where Congress has said you can only fire based on cause. What's the legal definition of cause? It's not a tweet.
It's not a tweet
by a Trump partisan. Can you imagine if a tweet could be the basis for breaking the law? All you need to do is ask, you want to get rid of somebody, tweet. Cause has to be proof that the law has been broken or gross misconduct on the job. What do these baseless allegations even have to do with her job? So what you see is, as Ali notes, another red line that has been breached and broken in this push towards authoritarianism. But it's one that hits Americans in the pocketbook because when you weaken the Fed, what's the reason that they had that first Bank of the United States, the second Bank of the United States, that Supreme Court opinion, this statute? Because when you weaken the independence of the Fed, you weaken the American economy. That makes everything more expensive, more uncertain for Americans.
Weakens the dollar.
It weakens the dollar and it harms us all.
Yeah, and that's the reason why people and institutions around the world invest in the United States is because, right, we are independent and we're at least we're supposed to be, and we have 3 separate independent branches of government. But now,
well, and not just independent branches of government, but the Federal Reserve is a quasi-private entity. And so it has its own unique posture. And there's a case because what they're arguing now is the for-cause provision for removal of people from the Federal Reserve. And I just want to read a couple of lines from the last time the Supreme Court spoke on it. Finally, respondents Gwen Wilcox and Kathy Herrick contend that arguments in this case necessarily implicate the constitutionality of for-cause removal protection for members of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors. And it does kind of a blah, blah, blah. The court says we disagree. The Federal Reserve is uniquely structured quasi-private entity that follows in the distinct historical tradition of the first and second banks of the United States cases. And in those cases, it was decided that you had to do exactly what Norm was talking about. And I'm sure what Abby, as Governor Cook's lawyer, is very clear on, that the for cause has to be with respect to the job, and it has to be substantiated, proven, factual. It can't be, we think you might have, and because somebody said you did, we're going to go ahead and remove you. It simply cannot occur that way. And so she's right to refuse to resign. And this is one of those pillars of this fledgling democracy, that the only way we hold on to it is if we fight. And I also want to point out, this man does not care about weakening this country. He's only interested in if something makes him look bad or not.
thank you. I was speaking to someone else, so I don't think that
Okay.
I was
Well, I was saying he's only interested in if something makes him look bad or not. So the fact that he would try to remove somebody and further shaken the stability of the way our country looks in the world, he's not bothered about that any more than he's bothered about the way sending troops to all of these cities hurts the tourism and makes the cities look bad and do poorly. He only cares about that which insulates and protects his own personal viewpoint of himself and the way he looks to the world, not what happens to this country.
So where do you think we go from here's now I've been watching analysis on this, and some of it I do have to agree with, that in this day and age, you got to get out there and talk, right? You got to get out there in every place, everywhere, and state your case in Donald Trump's America, so that people know, and I hate to say Donald Trump's America, but in this version of America. Should she be out there speaking? If you were advising her, what do you think her lawyers are advising her? Should she be talking? Should she be everything, everywhere, all at once?
No, and I know that we think that, but she has to do her job, and there are specific restrictions and limitations about what people who are in that position are supposed to say, because then that causes further instability and erosion. They're supposed to be these independent arbiters, this reserve board of governors. And so the same way Jerome Powell had to just answer, and when the press was asking him, would you let him fire you? Would you resign? And he was like, no. Next question. And she has already said, no, she's not going to do it. Her lawyer, who's a great lawyer, people may remember recently Representative Hunter Biden walked him through all of his crap. And Abby Lowell knows what he's doing. And he has spoken. And now the media and the movement organizers and all the leaders of whatever who think that they have a position on this need to do what I'm doing. Speak out about it on her behalf. She can't cheapen herself and make her position more at risk, where they can then accuse her of taking personal stances in the public media, making statements that have nothing to do with her job, risking her responsibilities to keep confidential the business of the
Credibility.
Board of Governors.
Yeah.
Then she gets herself fired by running her mouth.
Right.
Because,
Exactly.
so
Okay.
no.
I feel you. Now, what does she do then? Because this was a very important question that I think, what's his name? Andrew Ross Sorkin asked Howard Lutnick this morning on CNBC. Here it is.
Mr. Secretary, I do need to pivot to a different question around Lisa Cook, governor at the Fed, who has been fired by the president for cause. She says she's not going and that he doesn't have the authority to do such a thing. You're obviously in the administration, close to the president, also understand how the wheels of just the machinery of the government work. Who pays her paycheck, for example? Is that something that has to come directly from the Fed? Is that something that Chair Powell will have to turn off, if you will? Does she have a pass to get into the building as somebody turns on or turns off? And who does that?
So, yeah, I don't know the details of who has her paycheck or not. But the issue is a federal government, a governor of the Federal Reserve, literally signs her name and commits mortgage fraud, right? It's alleged that she's committed mortgage fraud, and she says, I'm not going anywhere. Well, the crook always says, I'm not going anywhere. And why would anybody defend that? The real question should be, did she commit mortgage fraud, yes or no? And if you did commit mortgage fraud, please get out of the federal government, get out of the seat of the governor of the Federal Reserve, and go away. You don't deserve to be there if you've committed mortgage fraud. Right? It's black and white. If you've committed mortgage fraud, you shouldn't be a governor of the Federal Reserve.
This is domino effect. One of the reasons I'm asking
Why doesn't he ask him about Donald Trump committing mortgage fraud and him being charged with it? But go on, let's hear this.
This question about who needs to turn off her badge or turn off her paycheck is if the answer is that ultimately Chair Powell is the one responsible for that and he chooses not to, then the secondary question becomes, does the president try to fire him for cause?
Well, these are all what-if scenarios. The answer is the Department of Justice will go take this on and deal with this.
Do we have a constitutional crisis here? Like, what the hell? And what does she do? Does she go to work? What would you do?
Yes.
Would you show up at work?
Well, she's released a statement already. I don't know if you guys have it, but she's already said that she's going to work. She's doing her job. She's protected by Humphrey's executive decision, case law, I think we need to fight this fight. No, it's not a constitutional crisis. It's only a constitutional crisis when the Constitution stops working. So when the president tries to do something that he doesn't have the power to do, and the person that he's trying to do it to resists, you don't have the right to fire me. I'm going to keep doing my job. Whatever happens next, either the DOJ tries to take it up in court, or they get some other people to be unlawful and try to remove her from the building and things like that. And there's a statement, and she's saying she will not resign. She's going to continue her duties that she's been doing since 2022. So they either are going to find a way to get some marshals or somebody to unlawfully remove her from the building. They're going to take over Chair Powell's responsibilities, because I know he's not going to do it because he knows it's unlawful. And then she would sue, and it's going to work its way through the courts. And so that's all still within the framework of what the Constitution is supposed to do when we have people trying to break the law. But
Yeah.
this is a good fight. I am saddened, sort of, that we're here, but I think these things have to happen for people to understand the levels to which this man will go, because there are still more of us in this country, though not loud enough. There are more of us who, when informed about these lawless actions, will care about it.
Yeah, this is good trouble. And
Yeah.
I know it's good trouble because this is as easy as it's taken me to get Monique to get ready in the morning to hop on. She's like, yes. This is outrageous, though. It really is. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. It's outrageous, and we know what's going on here. I mean, Letitia James and Fonnie Willis, and right now you got Lisa Cook, and then all the other women, black women. I mean, come on now. And he don't want to mess with that. I'm telling you, you don't want to mess with that, sir. I'm just saying.
No, and it's, they keep asking, like they're trying to get us in the streets, and people are trying to get black folks to prop up their progressive movements, because people don't really have the confidence in a movement without black people supporting it and leading it, and we usher in everybody else's rights, and we have respectfully declined.
Yeah.
And will continue to do so, but they shouldn't be confused to think that we will allow this for people who are of us, because we will not. That we won't do.
Monique Pressley, thank you. Have a
Thank
fantastic
you.
morning. And look, as we say, have the day you deserve.
Yes, I'm after it. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.